Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Well, till now we have discussed about variables, different data types such as list, tuples, strings and sets. So we all know that lists are ordered collection of elements, whereas sets are unordered collection of unique elements. So whenever we want all the elements, we will use list, but when we want only unique elements, we will use sets. So now let's discuss dictionaries. In our daily life, we know that what is the meaning of dictionary. Dictionary where we find the meaning of words. Let's say if I want to find the meaning of any word, such as I want to search for the word table. I want to search the meaning of table. So when I go to the dictionary at that page, it will give me the meaning of table. Similarly, in Python, we have key value pairs. Keys are basically the words and the values are the meanings. But definitely those keys and values are given by us only. So here dictionaries help in mapping those keys and values pairs. Unlike sequence, we can say that sequential, such as a list, string, mapping, those objects are stored by their relative position. So there is no indexing. So they don't retain any order since these objects are defined by keys. So we can say that in Python dictionary, every key has a particular associated value with it. So every key must be unique. It can be a numeric, it can be an integer, it can be a float, or it can be a string, but it should be a unique value. Sorry, unique key. So here you can find that I have given a boolean key. Now here is a string key, again string key, and every key has its value. So keys should be unique one. Now I can print that. So I have got all these key value pairs. Now to call any value, you can call it by using their keys. Now let's say if I want to get the value, this value, value 2, for an instance, like we do indexing in list. What we do to assess a particular element in a list, we call it using indexing. So here we can't use indexing, but we call the particular value with the help of their keys. So we get the value. Well, moving forward, I would like to tell you one more thing. We represent these dictionaries with this curly brackets. And do you remember that sets are also represented with curly brackets? But remember one thing, sets have their index value, but in dictionary we have key value pairs. So let's move forward. Here what I have done, I have assigned list to a particular key. We can also assign list to keys. Here is another key and I have assigned a list to that key. What if I want to access a particular element inside the list? Let's say if I want to access this 23. Now what I will do, I will call its key particular its unique key, sorry, that's unique key, key 2, and then element it's 0, 1 and 2. Now if I want to call 23, then I'll do this. Okay, fine. But what if I want to access this zeroth element, item 0, from this? I can do that, right? We can call an index on that value. It's very simple. So we can even use some methods on that value. Let's say if I want to print it with all upper alphabets, I can do that using that upper method. Fine. So next comes a nested dictionary. That is a very important concept. Here we can see that here this is the first dictionary, this is the first key value pair, then it is assigned to a particular key again, right? This is the second one, and here is the final and third one. It is called as nested dictionary when we have a dictionary inside a dictionary. So when we want to call a dictionary inside a dictionary, so we should have to keep calling the keys. Like if I want to access this, so we I have to first call this key 1 and then this key 2, like I have done this. So I will get the value. Now what if I want the value of this subnest key? right? So I can also assess this. I can also get the element by this. It's very simple. Fine. Now let's discuss some basic dictionary methods. Here I have created a typical dictionary, and we all know that how we can assess the particular value of any key, right? So I can call it as like this. Now what if I want to get the value using get function? Here is an inbuilt method in dictionary. So here you can also get the value like this. Fine. So you got the values. Well, if you want a list of all the keys, you can get all the keys using keys function. Here you will get all the keys such as key 1, key 2, key 3. Now what if I want to get only this key value at 0th index? I can do that also. So let's call this. So I got key 1. Similarly, if I want to get all the values, I can use values function here, right? So if I want to get all the values, I can use d dot values. And if you want to check the type of this, it is a dictionary values. You can also check the values of all the functions. If you sorry, the value, all the values, you can also do that. I got all the values 1 2 3, and its type is dictionary value. Now if I want to get tuples of all the items, then I can use items function. Here if I use item functions, I will get all the key values paired in the form of tuples. You can see that in an example. Now let's discuss a very important topic, that is list comprehensions. Well, it is the simplest and easiest way to create list in Python. Well, it's an important feature of Python. Here you should have a basic understanding of for loop. If you don't have an understanding about for loop, just leave it. We will discuss it further. So here what I am doing, I am creating a list inside a list. We have already discussed about nested list. So here I am creating a list inside a list, and I am creating a matrix with the name m, or we can say that I am creating a nested list and stored it in a variable m. What if I want only the first element of this each list? Fine, like 1, 4 and 7. What I can do that, I can call that from that particular index. I know that I want to get the first element, means at the 0th index. So I will call it like 4 row in M. Here M is a variable or a matrix. So what I am doing, I am calling just the first element. Fine. So I got the first element of each list. It's very simple. If you don't know anything about for loop, just leave it. We will discuss this topic in future also. So next come dictionary comprehensions. It is very much similar to this list comprehension. So here what I am doing, I am using a range function. We will discuss about range function first. Range function basically returns a sequence of numbers, and by default it starts from 0, and by default it increments each value by 1. And here is the syntax for range function. You have to use a range keyword, then starting number you have to give, but it's not mandatory. You can skip this step also, but stop function is mandatory to give. You have to give a stop number. Step is also an optional number. You can give if you want, otherwise it will take 1 by default. Here I have given an example of range function. I am taking a number and starting from 3, then ends at 5. And remember one thing guys, if you don't give uh, if you are giving this last number as 6, it will consider the values only one less than that number. It will consider values up to 5 only. Fine. So here I am taking an example where I am multiplying this x with the twice of it. So we are using exponential function actually, like 2. If I multiply 2 with this twice, 2 raised to power 2, it will be 4. If I am doing 3 raised to power 2, it will give us 9. 4 raised to power 2, it will give us 16. This is basically power of. I have already told you in the first lecture how we can do how we can use multiples sorry double stars to get the power of values or exponential values. So I am doing this. This is actually multiple line of codes, but with the help of dictionary comprehension, we can do this with just a single line of code. And what I am doing, I am giving it up to the range 10, means it will consider only values up to 9. Let's take an example. For an instance, for I in range 10, I want to print this I. Okay, so it will consider values only up to 9. Fine, 1 less than this number. If I don't want to start this value from 0 and 1, I want to start from 2, I can do this. It will start from 2. And if I want to take step size as 3, it will skip the values and it will take every third value. It will skip 3 and 4, then 6 and 7. Fine. I hope that this is clear to you, each and everyone. So today we have discussed about dictionaries. Dictionaries have key values pairs and how we can assess the values by using their keys, how we can get the each and use the get function to get all the keys, how we can use we can get tuples using items function. After that we have talked about list comprehension, dictionary comprehension, and a range function, which returns us a sequence of number. I hope that you like the lecture. Stay tuned. Bye bye.